Well, Stevie Nicol, as we sit here recording this on the second Monday of July, how different do you think the Liverpool squad could be, or maybe even needs to be, when the Premier League season kicks off? Or, as a Liverpool fan and former player, are you content with what Jurgen Klopp has at his disposal right now?
Yeah, I think you'd have to be. I guess we didn't really see Mane leaving 3 or 4 months ago. But the fact that they've signed Núñez, obviously Diaz coming when he did, means that up top, then they've got, I was going to say plenty of cover, but they've got plenty of quality. So I think up front they're fine. Defensively, I think also, I don't expect any changes. Alisson is, again, still arguably number one in the world. Defensively, the centre-back positions, particularly with Van Dijk, whoever his partner is, they've got plenty of choices. Same with the full-back spots. So up front, defence, I don't expect any changes now. Middle of the park, again, they've got numbers. Would I like to see a signing? Yes. I'll be honest, I would have liked to have seen Calvin Phillips coming to Liverpool. But again, if you look at the numbers, plenty of bodies and still plenty of quality. So, listen, Liverpool are looking pretty good.
As someone that played as Liverpool centre-back, among many other positions, on many occasions during your career, you know what it's like and what it takes to play there. It's Virgil van Dijk +1. Who would you play alongside Virgil van Dijk as the best possible accompaniment for him?
That's a tough one, because Joe Matip last year was fantastic when he played. But of course, come the end of the season, Klopp seemed to prefer Konate in the big games at the end of the season, as I said. So I'm actually quite happy with either one. I wasn't a huge fan of Matip, I'll be honest, until last season. But considering what he did, how he played, I would have no problem either way, whether it's Matip or Konate. And of course, Joe Gomez, who's actually just signed a new contract, where does he fit in? Liverpool have gone and signed a young Scottish right back, probably not ready for the first team yet, but he's one for the future. So Gomez normally fills in at right back for Trent when he has a rest or gets injured. So I would say, if I'm Joe Gomez, I'm kind of wondering where I'm going to fit in, because I wouldn't put him right now next to Van Dijk ahead of Konate or Matip.
Let's go up front. 5 into 3 doesn't go. Who's your first choice front three right now?
Oh, I think that's easy. It's Diaz, Núñez and Salah. I don't think there's any argument about that. I don't think you go and spend the money on Núñez and not play him, which obviously will mean that Jota and Firmino are going to have their nose out of joint a little bit. But the truth is that, Jota has been given his chance as a starter and didn't really take it. Yes, he scored some goals and some important ones, but didn't really take it for me. Didn't make his print in the fact that his statement wasn't, I have to be in the starting 11. And Bobby Firmino, as good as he is, as good as he's been, the last 12 months in particular, he really hasn't been at his best. So yeah, I think the front three picks itself right now. Unless Núñez comes in and has an absolute stinker pre-season, I'd be shocked if he doesn't start at centre forward.
I think what we're seeing, that you've spoken about the defence and the players that might not start, the strikers and the players that might not start, they do have strength and depth. Regarding Diogo Jota, someone having been at the football club, David Fairclough was kind of known as a super sub. Could that be a role for Diogo Jota if he doesn't start every game?
I think there's no question he's capable of doing that. He's lively. He's certainly in the box. He's lively. He gets on the end of things that well, go figure. Just one of those talents that some players have, to be in the right place at the right time. At the same time, will he be happy being a super sub? I would expect not. I would think that in his mind, if I'm him, I'm thinking, this is a big year for me, because I don't want to be coming off the bench all the time. So, yeah, I think this is an important year for him.
Manchester City signed Holland and Calvin Phillips, who you said you would have liked to have seen at Liverpool. Does that take them further away from Liverpool with those two additions?
Well, I think the fact that they signed Haaland took them a step away from anybody and everybody on the planet. Never mind Liverpool. You know, such a good side to go around and sign the hottest property available clearly makes them better. So yeah, no, they've taken a step forward, probably more than anybody else with those, particularly the Haaland signing, but also with Phillips signing.
And what about the teams chasing Manchester City and Liverpool with what they've done in the transfer window so far and transfer market so far? Do you see Spurs being the biggest challengers? Maybe not getting into the top two, but certainly closing the gap from last season?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've made a lot of moves, and on the face of it, they're all good moves. Chelsea seem to be floundering a little. Yes, they have signed Sterling, which does automatically make them better. But they're not quite sure what's going on with their front three. Defensively, they need numbers. We're talking about signing Nathan Ake, who I'm sorry, there's a reason why Nathan Ake hasn't been playing at Man City regularly. He was there as a backup. There's a reason why Chelsea let him go initially. So I have my suspicions about Chelsea defensively. Certainly the fact that they don't have any right now, and the fact of the names that are being thrown around that they're trying to sign, the likes of Ake, I'm not quite sure that means they're going to push Liverpool or City. So that means, yes, no question, Spurs are the side that look to have taken the biggest step as far as the chasers are concerned. You know, up front signing Richarlison. I'm not a huge fan of Richarlison, but at the same time, you know, he makes competition for places. And Kulusevski, as good as he was, will be looking over his shoulder at Richarlison. I think in the middle of the park, Bissouma's a good signing. I liked him at Brighton. So they've strengthened in the middle of the park. I think, though, their weakness is at the back. I think they need a new goalkeeper. Lloris, as good as he's been, has for me been making too many basic errors over the last 18 months. And I don't think Eric Dyer is the answer at centre-back. I never have done. But as far as the rest of the side, the middle of the park, up front, they've definitely gotten better. Again, they've got competition for places, good competition as well, not just numbers. So I think Spurs look like the side who, I don't know whether you could say they're going to push Liverpool and City. You know, you're talking about, what, 20 points? That's a lot to catch up in one transfer window. But certainly I expect them to be in the top four, no question. And I expect them right now to finish ahead of Chelsea. Let's put it that way.
Let's wrap up the Liverpool transfer chat. One final question. You've identified midfield as the area you think they need one more signing. You got any names in mind, or is it just a case of see who the best fit might be for that midfield area?
To be honest with you, I had, before the end of the season, I had Calvin Phillips and maybe Bissouma. After that, there are not that many available. As I said, though, they still got numbers. They still got quality. I'm just trying to be greedy. I'm just trying to get better. And but I'm sure Klopp's got it well in hand.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.